cool. Then I'll do that.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. 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 Hi there. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to a taste of being chaotic or something like that. Taste of being chaos. For those of you that don't know, I wrote a book called Being You, Changing the World. Bestseller, hello. There's a 3.5-day class called Being You, Changing the World. So this evening is a taste, a soupçon of being chaos. Why chaos? Well, because it's everything you've been asking for. And everything that you have decided is right and good and correct. In other words, all your judgments about everything comes from something called order, which is the antithesis of chaos. If you were willing to truly be chaotic, everything in your life would work with more ease than you ever thought possible. So welcome, thanks for being here tonight. Nice to have you. We are doing a class this weekend called The Choice of Possibilities. And a lot of the people that are here tonight are actually in that class. Some of you are coming from the outside, nice to see you. If you want to know who's actually in that class and who's not, look to your left, look to your right. The person that can no longer focus on your face is probably in the COP class. We had a rather intense day today, having discussions about order and chaos, which has been really cool and kind of eye-opening in a lot of ways, and we'll talk about some of that tonight. But tonight, my aim, my target would be to give you as much as I can about whatever the heck you're here for, okay? Because sometimes there's this opening, there's this invitation, there's a time where it's time to actually change something, or time to invite something, or time to be something different. And it's interesting because you'll get the inspiration to come to a class like tonight. And if you allow it to, it can be a contribution that could perhaps change the trajectory of the rest of your life. And what you want to recognize is your choice today is what will create your future. Now, some of you are here kicking the tires, so to speak. Some of you had somebody drag you here. You know, that person in your life that does all that weird stuff all the time. And they've been reading books and talking to you about what different colors do and shit like that. And now you're here. Lucky you. How did you get so lucky? Just realize they brought you here because they like you. They're really probably not trying to torture you unless you're in a relationship, and then they're definitely trying to torture you. Okay. And just what if you could actually have the gratitude for the fact that they care enough about you to try to include you in the things that have created change and possibilities for them. Because when you're in a relationship with somebody or when you have a friend, it's really easy to resist when they're like, hey, come to this thing. And you're like, oh, I don't want to go to another thing, seriously. And believe me, I understand. Can't tell you the number of times I was sitting there with a girlfriend who was into something, I cannot tell you. I'll tell you actually the most boring thing I have ever been to is I read this sort of really cool book called The Seat of the Soul. And yeah, great book, right? We went because my girlfriend, had read it and then she gave it to me to read and she's like, oh, we were in this place doing a chiropractic seminar and she said, oh, this guy's gonna be talking about his book. And I sat there for 3 hours bored out of my mind. I was like, great book, boring, man. Oh my, I sat there, I was like, I think I might be in judgment, but I don't care. I'm so bored, I want to shoot myself right now. I think I found where the seat of my soul is, and it's nowhere here right now. Okay, good. And I was like, that's awesome, Brilliant guy. And I sat there for 3 hours with my girlfriend. And afterwards, she's like, what did you think? I was like, I hope I don't have that effect on you tonight, okay? But if I do, you're a judgmental asshole. There, okay, good, awesome, okay, we cleared it up, awesome. Exactly, like that. So please feel free to ask any questions you have tonight, but the one thing I would ask is just have a good time. A lot of times you get together in a room full of people and you're like, I'm going to prove I'm conscious. This is about consciousness. It's access consciousness. I'm going to prove consciousness where you have a good time, like just if you would be willing to just enjoy yourself tonight, that would be one of the greatest gifts you could give you, greatest gifts you could give me, and all of us. And funnily enough, the whole thing about all this stuff, this consciousness stuff, the working, the change, and all this is really, from my point of view, about being able to actually enjoy being alive. Look out at the world. How many people do you see enjoying their lives and enjoying being alive and being grateful? Like, imagine waking up in the morning and going, wow, I'm so grateful to be here today. I'm so friggin' grateful to be here today. Like, what if that could be your point of view? So consider this your invitation, if you haven't considered that might be possible, to actually live as that, though, because we have rare moments of gratitude for our lives, like, oh wow, I did this, or I contributed to this person, or oh, I got this thing that made me really happy, or whatever it is. But imagine if your whole life was about you being grateful for your life and being grateful to be alive, where it's like, oh, I just had this conversation and somebody's world opened up, or I really love everything I'm doing in my life. I really love how I'm being in the world, who I'm being in the world. So part of what is required is actually to get out of judgment of you as being bad, as being wrong, as being stupid, as being not enough, whatever the heck it is you've been judging you for. Can we just leave that crap out there? Yes. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to run this thing called a clearing statement. If you don't understand it, you'll get an email explaining it. Otherwise, if you want to explain it, I will do it. Raise your hand, say, please explain all the weird words you're saying. But we have this really cool way in Access of changing crap. Basically, we have a way of changing stuff that hasn't been working. It's called a clearing statement. What we do is I'll bring up a concept, a construct, I'll bring up something in your world, and it'll go, where I'll say, hey, like, think about the judgments of you had today, and you're like, make it stop, Dr. Day, make it stop. And then I say, well, you just run and create it. We run the clearing statement, and it starts to go away. And within that clearing statement is something called POC and POD. I like to call them the superheroes of consciousness, okay? POC and POD, which stands for going back to the point of creation of wherever you started that judgment in the first place, or the point of destruction, wherever you took some really cool point of view about you out of existence and undo it. Whether it was last week or 100 billion years ago, it just goes to that point where that was and starts to unlock it. It has been creating massive change for hundreds of thousands, millions of people at this point all over the world. So you can use it on your own. All you have to do is go, hey, POC and POD all that stuff, and it works. And it's kind of dynamic and kind of cool and kind of way easier than you thought it would be. How many of you have ever tried to change something in your life? Anybody? Oh my God, me too. That's awesome. Okay. So what this does, it actually starts to make it easier. The other thing that we have is we have these tools, ways of looking at things from a different place than probably most of what you've experienced before, that actually allow you to have a different perspective, to get bigger than the problem, or bigger than the thing you want to change, or bigger than the difficulty in your relationship, or your money situation, or your body situation, or whatever it is. And also, if you're somebody who's like, you know what, I want to contribute more to people, I want to contribute more to the world, it gives you a big enough perspective to actually see where that could be a possibility. And then at the same time, what we do is all the little points of view that are getting in the way that don't allow it to exist, or that are getting in the way that are creating the problems, we can get rid of those too. So it's this whole thing where it's like, you look from a bigger place, create a bigger possibility because you're no longer looking from just a tiny little, I mean, really, how many of us like to live from, you know what I mean? Even when I say it, you're like, you know, but how often do you do that to you on a daily basis? You're not, you know, enough of living this tiny life. This is about, let's open up to something different and possible. And the thing is, it's not about access. It's not about, oh, you need access in order to do this. This is an acknowledgement of you, the being that you actually are. One of the things I used to do in, well, I did all kinds of things. Any of you like the Seekers of the world? Like, you have read every friggin' book. You know, like what every friggin' color does. You know how to use the sword of Saint Michael. Or Archangel Michael. I'm sorry, I can't believe I said the wrong word about Michael. You know how to use Mike's sword, okay? You know, like, you know how to use the purple light of Saint Germain, which I never understood. You ever do that shit? Like, somebody's like, use the purple light of Saint Germain. Just like swirl it around you and Saint Germain will protect you. I'm like, number one, who the fuck is Saint Germain? Okay? I mean, seriously. Number one, who the fuck is Saint Germain? Number two, how the fuck is purple light gonna fucking do anything for me? Okay? And after about the 23rd time of trying to swirl purple light around me and through my ass and up my head, you know, into the heavens and it not doing a damn thing, I'm like, this sucks. Show me something that actually works, okay? So to the best of our ability and access, we don't want to waste your time. We recognize your time is precious. Your energy is precious. Your being is precious. Your being here is precious to me. And thank you very much for coming tonight, okay? To the best of our ability, we will be as practical as we possibly can. It's like, you want change, we do our best to deliver, okay? So just look at whatever change it is you might have been asking for that you haven't been able to get, and maybe there's a possibility of inviting it here. Part of that, though, is you got to recognize that your judgments about the rightness and wrongness of anything are what are limiting everything, okay? Your judgments about the rightness and wrongness of anything, especially you, are limiting everything. And this is something that is endemic in our world. We're taught as little kids. You know how little kids come in and they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm happy. And by the time they're 8, they're like, I'm not happy anymore. Okay. You know, I'm doing a good job of being in this reality. I don't like my life and I'm starting to judge it. You know, I had a nephew who, talk about brilliant. I actually still have a nephew. He's not dead. Don't worry. Okay. I mean, seriously, brilliant kid. And when he went to kindergarten and first grade, the teachers there loved him, and they loved the fact that he would always ask questions and be like, what else can I do? And the teacher was like, oh, Stevie, this is so great. You can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. He got to second grade, and every time he'd ask a question, he would get a card. Like in soccer, you know what I mean? You get a yellow card when you're bad, and then if you do it again, they give you a red card. That's what he was getting for asking questions, okay? And so this kid, I mean, you tell him to shut up, ain't happening, okay? You tell him don't ask questions, he's like you. He's got to ask more questions. You know, when you say don't ask questions, he's like, you had to say that, didn't you, okay? And so he would start asking more questions, and what happened was he would get a yellow card because he was bad for asking a question. Seriously? In school, in second grade? This is when you want kids to ask questions and expand their horizons and explore the universe and see what's possible and not be limited by anything. Well, guess what? He was walking home because what would happen is he'd get a yellow card and then he would ask another question, he'd get a red card, and then he had to eat lunch in the friggin' room with the judgmental teacher. He couldn't go out to recess. Yeah. Holy crap, seriously? This kid was coming home in second grade like this. That's what I said. That's exactly. And I talked to my sister and said, sweetie, we need to find him someplace else to go. Well, within a few days, he found a private school, went there for one day where they acknowledged him, where he got to ask those questions, where he got to be acknowledged for the gift that his questions were. Because I'll tell you, the questions are one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. And we've lost that ability, or the willingness to do it, I should say. And he, after one day of being able to ask questions, after one day of being able to go in and start exploring things with the teachers and different things in the school, he came home and he's like, Mom, this is awesome. This is the best. This is so cool. I'm so happy. So he went in that school the next day and has just been phenomenal and amazing ever since. But you realize that what a lot of what we get in this world is no you shouldn't, no you can't, no you shouldn't, no you can't, no you shouldn't, no you can't, no you shouldn't, no you can't. Notice that light energy that comes up? You're like, shut up! Okay, but here's the beauty of it. So now we get to use this clearing statement, okay? Because what happens is I'll say that, and then it brings up everywhere in your life where that has been the case. And you go, is the energy. But then the beauty of it is, it's not just about talking about this, although that has its own value to give you awareness, but we actually have a way of changing it. That is the real cool part of it. So everything you've done to enforce on you, no I shouldn't, no I can't, no I shouldn't, no I can't, no I shouldn't, no I can't, and everything that's been done by somebody else to enforce upon you, no I shouldn't, no I can't, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so that's the clearing statement. In the center of that, even though I said it in reverse order, is pot and pock, or pock and pot. It really doesn't matter which order you say it. It's asking. Easy for me to say in English. Sometimes I get tripped up in my English. I don't know why. Sometimes my brain and my mouth are not in sync at the same speed. So the POC is standing for the point of creation. Going back to the point of creation of wherever you put this in place, whether it was last week, whether it was when you were a little kid, or whether it was 100 billion years ago, who knows? It doesn't matter. And the pod is the point of destruction where you took something that was this great willingness to, I don't know, ask questions as an example, and you went, no, I can't do that anymore. And we're letting go of both of those. And what I say is, so what happens is we'll have these conversations. It'll bring up that energy of, no, you shouldn't, no, you can't, or whatever it is. And then I'll say, will you destroy and uncreate it? Now, whether you do is your choice. Totally, completely your choice. You know, some of you are sitting there, it's your first time to access, and you're like, I'm already perfect. I don't know why I'm here. Cool, good for you. Have a good time with that. Okay, good. Because the difficulty is when you're perfect, you can't ever get any greater. But let's face it, is any of us actually perfect? Or do we just want to prove that we are so we don't have to have everybody else's judgment slamming us in the face? So, everywhere you decided, no, you shouldn't, no, you can't, and everywhere you decided that the way out of being judged and having people's judgments slam you in the face was by being perfect or proving you were perfect even when you didn't think you were, will you destroy and uncreate that, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what ends up happening is we grow up, we're born, we live, we're these little like vivacious beings, and by the time we're teenagers, we don't even know where the hell that went anymore. And then you get to this point where you're really old like you guys, and not me. Okay, you get to this point and it's like, wow, where did all that joy go? Where did all that enthusiasm go? So everything you did to give up the joy and enthusiasm of being alive, just because everybody else has, will you just run it great it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Here's the thing to recognize, okay? Just because everybody else has doesn't mean you need to. Yes, everybody else has. Okay, fine. Well, probably not everybody else. There's a few of us still left. Okay, that no matter how old we get, we're still having a good friggin' time, even though we're not supposed to. So everything that doesn't allow you to have fun, even though you're not supposed to, will you just run and create it, please? Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so this, the whole thing about all of this is really, it's like we have possibilities, we have this, like this willingness to be really alive, and then we sort of lose it, we give it away, whatever. But also, we've never really been taught how to create our lives. We've sort of been taught, try to fit in the box, kid. You know, but every time you try to fit in the box, is there any box big enough for you? No, and yet you keep trying to order it into existence. So this whole idea about order and chaos, order is all of those boxes you've tried to make real, that you've tried to live from, that you've tried to make valuable for you, that are not. The chaos, and here's the weird thing also, is a lot of us as kids, we saw our families being chaotic. Like, I don't know about you, but my family was chaotic with money, I thought. Okay, what do I mean? Well, they would have money and then they would lose it. They would have a business that had been going for years and then they were too stupid to keep it. They didn't let it evolve. They didn't keep changing. They kept trying to do the same thing over and over and over. And so it always seemed like they had chaos with money because they never seemed to have enough no matter how much they had. Does that make sense? That's not actually chaos, that's actually order. And you're like, what? Okay, we have a saying in Access, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nowhere is that more true than in this conversation about chaos and order. Chaos, if you look at it, one of the definitions or awarenesses about chaos is it's what existed before the universe was created, before the Big Bang, quote unquote. Okay, and my point of view about that, if you will, would be that that was actually consciousness, is what existed before the universe was created. Because if you look at it, every element has consciousness, every molecule has consciousness. And so we have this universe in which consciousness exists, and none of us seem to know it, none of us seem to value it, none of us seem to get it. And the thing about consciousness is it's where everything exists and nothing is judged. Can you imagine if you woke up tomorrow and had no judgment of you or anyone for any reason, in any way? And no matter how hard anybody tried, they couldn't make you judge? Would that be a little different? I mean, think about it. How many judgments have you had of you or other stuff, or you with regard to people, or them with regard to you just today? How many judgments have you heaped on your shoulders just today? If you could let those go, how much greater could your life be? Everything that doesn't allow you to let them go, we destroy and uncreate it, please. Times a gazillion, right? Run, go, battle, 9, pod, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So the way this clearing statement works is when you find anything you want to change, you go, everything that doesn't allow it, pock and pod. Kind of simple, okay? Or you can do the whole thing. And once again, if anybody wants me to explain the clearing statement, I'm happy to do that. You just have to ask a question, okay? Yes, lady at microphone.
Yes, I just, one thing that I notice I do with that is I'll get to a place where I think like, yay, I'm at a good spot. And then I judge that as right. And so then I hit a wall of conclusion that like, oh, now I'm in a wrong spot if it's not that. And then I get stuck. So it's like.
Well put. How many of you have ever gotten to a good spot? And then what happens, you're like, I'm not moving! Finally at a good spot! I'm finally not at someplace absolutely horrendous. Stop the universe, I made it! And then the moment you try to do that, about 30 seconds later, feels like your good spot is gone. Because you're trying to define a good spot, because you're trying to order into place a good spot and a right spot, it keeps you from being willing to have the chaos that every molecule in the universe has, which is being happy with whatever spot it's in. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Everything that doesn't allow you to be happy with whatever spot you're in, thinking that somehow that's forward progress. I judge where I am, so I will get somewhere better. Everything that is, we just try to create it, please. Times a gazillion, right? Rocket Battle 9, pod, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's like we have this idea. I judge, therefore I am. You know, it's weird. And that's the weird thing also, is if you look at it, every other molecule in the universe is like, I have a spot. This is an awesome spot because I'm right here. And it doesn't matter whether that spot is like a molecule and a piece of poo on the sidewalk over there. It doesn't matter if it is like, you know, a helium atom in the sun. It's like, I'm here. This is awesome. I'm going to do the best thing I can right now and be this molecule. And it doesn't judge it. You know, like the molecules of the sun don't go, oh my God. Oh my God, like I'm such a bad molecule right now. I can't believe it. I like don't even want to be here. I so wish I were somewhere else right now. You know what I mean? It's like, how many times do the birds wake up and go, oh, I'm having a bad feather day. I'm just not going to sing. Somebody else do the singing today. No chirping for me today. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all around us, the awareness of what's possible to live, and yet we've so ordered our lives into into the judgment of the right and the wrong of our place and the right and the wrong of our space and the right and the wrong of who and what we're being and what we're not being. It's like we have this impossibility of having the lightness of just being grateful to be alive. So might as well introduce a concept called poo. Okay. And no, it's not what you think it is, probably, although it creates what you think it does. So poo is points of order. Anytime you're trying to order anything into existence, you're trying to solidify it and define it as right, wrong, good, or bad. Okay? Your poo is what creates your judgment. Your very. Don't go visual, kids. Okay. Theoretical, sort of energetic conversation we're having. Okay. It creates your judgment, it creates your points of view, creates all the stuck places in your life. All the poo does. So how much poo are you using to create the judgment of you have on a daily basis that you are choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. And a godzillion is a number so big only God knows. It's like steroids for the clearing statement, okay? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and then create it, please. Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I apologize, I talk really fast. I keep trying to slow down, but it doesn't work. But I keep trying, but it doesn't work. So I've given up trying, so now I just talk as fast as I do. So how much poo are you using to create the lack of joy in your world you are choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the lack of fun you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the judgment of other people in your life that you are choosing? I don't judge, I just hate them. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Could you imagine, part of the thing about having these conversations, part of the thing about being able to clear the things that come up in your way is it means you can start to head in the direction you want and actually create what you truly desire. How much poo, how many points of order do you have, creating you not even being aware of what you truly desire anymore? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Are you aware that if you got aware of what you truly desire, you would actually be able to create it? See, one of the biggest things that we do is we think we want this because the order of this reality says you want this and you should want this and this is what you want and this is what has value. And yet really we'd like to be over here. You know, like where your parents try to make you a dentist or a doctor or something and you're like, no, I want to be a musician. That's what makes me happy. And your dad's like, no, that is unacceptable, darling. You need to actually do something worthwhile. It is worthwhile. It makes me happy, asshole. So how much poo are you using not to call bullshit on bullshit? And not to acknowledge the assholes in your life that try to control your life to get you to do what they think you should do? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and men. Yes?
So can you talk about knowing what you desire to create while keeping it undefined?
Yes. Knowing what you desire to create while keeping it undefined, how does that look? How does that work? Well, you can have an awareness of the energy of what you'd like your life to be, or what you'd like a part of your life to be, or what change you would like, and get a sense of that. And then not try to go, oh, well, it's going to happen with this guy, with this many kids, with this color house, with this color car, in this neighborhood. Okay? Because all of those are an attempt to order it into existence. The chaos of you says, hey, if I get the energy of it, I can create it. Does that make sense? So right now, just for a moment, get a sense if you could have anything as your future. And this is a little weird for old people like you to, have this conversation. If I were having it with kids, they'd be like, oh, like that, and that, and wow, right? Okay, imagine you're a kid again. Imagine right now you're like 6, smart enough to have awarenesses and that sort of thing, but not so old that you've cut off every possibility in your life except for one, okay? Oh, everything that brought up, right? Wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and men. You're like, how does he know? He must be psychic. Okay? Imagine you're like 6 or something, whatever. you've lived your life, but you're still 6, okay? Magic land. Okay, you've lived a life, but you're still 6. Imagine you being able to create. Now, this is not like the stuff, the cars and the amount of money and whatever. Imagine any energy you could have as your future. If you could create your future from the energy of it, the way it would feel to have it, what would it be for you? Okay. Now, what I'd like you to add to that is if we could have any future for all of us on the planet, as a planet, together, instead of separate for once. Instead of fighting and competing and abusing and suppressing, what would that be like? Whew. Whew. Wow. Now, a lot of times you put that into the dream category because you'd really like it, but you see a lot of people fighting against it, and you have the idea that there is no hope to create it. What if you're the hope to create it? And I really mean that on a really practical level. What if you're the hope to create it? Because if you have an awareness that that is a possibility and as a desire in your world, when you open up to that awareness and possibility, you may be the only one on the planet that knows it can exist. And when you open up a new space like that, you birth it on the planet with our collective awareness. And you actually give it space and give it breath and give it life and you give it possibilities. So everything you've done to deny that, everything you've done to deny that you are already indeed contributing to that as our future by your being here, desiring it, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, good, bad, all 9, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, if what you desired for our planet's future and the possibilities you would so love to see with that, if that was one energy that was actually part of your future too, and they dovetailed, and if you had an awareness of this as a possibility, and it makes you feel lighter to think about it, please do not let it die. Do not let anybody kill it. There are a lot of people who won't get it. There are a lot of people who won't see it. There are a lot of people who won't value it. There are a lot of people who won't even contribute to it, but a lot of us will. And what you want to find in your life is the people that will, and the people that will support it, and the people that will contribute to it. Because if you do, we together can actually create it. And even if we don't create it like tomorrow, because that's the other difficulty, we look at this, we ask for it, and then we see crazy people, running for office. We see crazy people saying, these people are bad and all this stuff, and we're like, well, okay, it must not be able to happen. Don't give up on it. You being the awareness of it and not giving up on it will eventually create it. And that can sound kind of airy-fairy, but one of the things that I found in the last 16 years of facilitating a lot of people around the world is that the people that don't give up create. Okay? The people that don't give up on what they desire actually create. And usually what happens is they create greater, not lesser. They actually have an idea or a vision or a possibility for what they'd like their life to be, and they create greater than that, not lesser. So everything you've done to buy, there's a few things that we try to order into existence, okay? In order to create the way I'm talking about it requires you to step into the willingness to be the chaos you are rather than avoid it and try to be the order continuously. Because a lot of you bought the idea that your job was to bring order to your family and their chaos, order to the world and its chaos. Your job is actually to be what true chaos is, meaning you are willing to let magic and miracles occur, but also be the awareness of this energy of what you would like to be as your future and our future, and not let it die. So everywhere you've been trying to let it die and everywhere you letting it die has been killing you, will you destroy and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Ring about all 9, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I don't know how I got to be in this place. I'm extremely grateful that I am. 16 years ago, I was a struggling, and I mean struggling, chiropractor. I was opening my second practice in Santa Barbara. I had this amazingly judgmental girlfriend. Oh man. And I was suffering every morning when I woke up, and all those dreams that I used to have that I was sure would come true one day, I finally one day woke up and went, it's not going to happen, is it? fine. Universe, here's the deal. You got 6 months. Either my life actually starts becoming something I value and I start having fun and enjoying my life, or I'm killing myself, and I don't care which it is. I thought I was going to be able to leave the planet because I made my demand. You know how that is. You either change this or I'm out of here. I did. Universe, either change this or I'm out of here. And then I came across fucking Access Consciousness. Fuckers. I had one session of bars, and I remember I was there on this chiropractic table in my office, had about this color actually, and this lady puts her hands on my head and puts 3 fingers on she like cradles the back of my head and puts 3 fingers on my forehead, and I feel this energy go through my body, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And so after a few minutes of this, like I start giggling like a little kid. And she moves her hands to this place, and I giggle more. And she moves her hands again, and I giggle more. And she moves her hands again, and I'm like, and I'm lying on the table going, literally, right before the session, I was like, oh, I get to get out of here. I get to kill myself. I was like, I get to kill myself. That's a weird point of view to have, right? And I get, after this session, I'm like, wow. And I remember looking up at the sky, and I was like, has it always been this beautiful here? Oh my God, because there were these beautiful clouds in the sky, and I was like, wow. And I just literally walked around going, wow, wow, wow. But it was that energy that I had wanted from the time I was a kid that I had let die from my point of view, that I thought I had given up on. So truly, 16 years later, I have no idea how I'm in front of you right now, but I'm so grateful that I am. But what I saw with Access was a way of actually creating what I knew was possible when I was a little kid. How many of you would like some invitation to know that what you knew was possible as a little kid is actually possible? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive it, to know it, to receive it, and actually get to be whatever that's going to take for you to have that, for you to be that, for you to choose that, and for you not to give up on that, we destroy and create a place. Times a gazillion, right? Run, good, bad, all 9, pod, puck, shorts, boys, men. Golly, that's got a lot of energy to it. So let's do this. So all the poo you've been using to give up on you, you've been choosing? Notice how I made it rhyme so you to remember it? Even though you're like, I don't remember what you're fucking saying. Okay, everything that is, we destroy and create a place. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all 9, shirts, boys, and beyonds. How much poo have you been using? The points of order, which is where you order a point of view into existence, and then you hammer it into your head, okay? How much poo are you using to create the giving up on you you've been choosing? I know. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right? Right, wrong, good and bad, pod, puck, all 9, shirts, boys, and beyonds. How much poo have you been using to give up on you that you've been choosing? Create the giving up on you you've been choosing. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, bod and puck, all 9, shirts, boys, and beyonds. What if by some friggin' miracle your life could be as beautiful and amazing as you always knew it could be and should be? Oh, I know. Everything that doesn't allow that to open up right friggin' now, we destroy and create it, please. Times a godzillion, right? Run, good, bad, all 9, pod, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And the interesting thing is it's our choice. You know, we've been looking for somebody else who will give it to us, looking for somebody else who will make it happen. And most people don't see what you see. They don't get what you get. They don't understand what you understand. They don't have the vision or the energetic vision and awareness of what you do. So everything you've been doing to try to order into existence, the idea that they actually have the awareness you have, and when they don't see it, you stop it, and you give up on it, and you don't head there anymore. Will you destroy and create it, please? Times a godzillion, right? Run, good, bad, all 9, pod, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So, how much poo are you using to create the giving up on you and your dreams and your awareness of what's possible and your creation of future are you choosing? Yes. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. See, one of the other things that you have, whether you want to know it or not, is a lot more energy than you ever thought you had. Okay? You got a lot more vibrance, and vitality. My English, you know. You have a lot more vibrance, and vitality than you ever thought you did. And when you force yourself to be like you're supposed to be here, friggin' sucks. Takes a huge amount of energy to keep you that compressed, suppressed, and repressed. So how much energy are you using to keep you compressed, suppressed, and repressed that you are choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and men. The first time I went to New York, I was on the subway, and I had this really weird traumatic thing happen. My friend Gary, the founder of Access, was in the hospital and all this stuff, and it was my first time in a big city ever. I didn't even know what a subway, I mean, I knew what a subway was because I'm not stupid completely, okay? But I had no idea how to use one or anything, so I had to figure out how to use the subway, how to get to all these places and whatever. And I remember after my first few trips on the subway, there was a friend of ours that lived there who was trying to sort of like take care of me and shuttle me to the hospital and back and forth and all this stuff. And so see, for me, when I'm riding on the subway, it's like I'm sitting there and, you know, see this person who might be interested. I'm like, hey, how you doing? In New York, okay? You think San Francisco's bad? Try New York, right? I'm like, how you doing? What's going on? And what was funny is they would start talking to me. And we'd have these great conversations, and then I'd get off the train, and you know, and go on my way. I was like, wow, that was so cool. That was awesome. And every time I was on the friggin' subway, there was somebody sitting next to me that I could talk to. And I'd be like, hey, how are you? And they'd be like, oh, I'm good, how are you? Wow, usually people don't talk on the subway. I'm like, I know, it's weird, isn't it? Huh? You know, we're all people here, but nobody wants to know it, you know? And I remember telling the lady that was a New Yorker, I mean, serious New Yorker, like born, bred, raised, lived in an apartment, you know, all the New York stuff, like I'm in New York, you know? And I remember saying, oh my God, I've had the most amazing conversations on the subway. I've been talking to people, it's been great. And she looked at me, she went, you can't do that. And I was like, I can't do what? She said, you can't talk to people on the subway, you'll get mugged. And I was like, I haven't been mugged yet, and I've been doing it. So shut up, you know? And there was part of me that wanted to stop, even though it was so much fun getting to meet people. And somewhere, somehow, because that was my point of view, I would sit next to the people that I could meet and talk to. See, your point of view creates your reality. Reality does not create your point of view. When you have the point of view that it's possible, guess what? It's fucking possible. Okay? When you have the point of view that it's possible, it is actually possible. When you have the point of view that it's possible and you don't give up on that point of view, no one and nothing can stop you. And I hate to say it, but there's no one and nothing that can stop you anyway except you. So how much poo have you been using? All the points of order you've been using to create the stoppage of you were choosing. Which, by the way, could make you constipated if you're not careful. Will you destroy and create a place? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what happens is you have such an amount of energy available that you've been pretending you don't have, that you had when you were a little kid, but all the people around you are like, stop, shut up, don't annoy people, blah, blah. And you're like, okay. You know, now you're like, okay, I won't do that anymore. I'm so sorry. You know? Wake up! Everything that doesn't allow that and all the poo you've been using against you to limit your energy and limit your enthusiasm and limit your joy and limit your connection with people and limit your creativity and limit your fun. Will you just run and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Ring about all nine, pod, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what you got to get is it's your choice. See, your point of view creates your reality, and it's your choice about what your point of view is going to be. What? I know, because we keep wanting to look outside and go, no, my girlfriend won't let me have that point of view. You know, my boyfriend won't let me be happy. He doesn't like it when I'm happy. Why the fuck are you with them? If you're not with somebody who wants you to be happy, and if you're not with somebody who desires you to be happy than you are when you're without them, find someone else. Everything that brought up, oops, times a gazillion, stepping on a few toes. We just trying to create a place. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what you realize is, a couple things. What's true for you makes you feel lighter. A lie will always make you feel heavier, okay? So something that's actually true for you, when you hear it, it'll go into your world and go, something that's a lie, you'll hear it and go, okay? And what happens is we've been trying to make all these things that aren't true for us when they're not. So how much poo are you using to create other people's lies as truth for you that you are choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create other people's lies as truth for you are you choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So, dramatic pause. Okay. I'm going to have some water. Okay. So imagine for a moment you could actually start to have whatever it is you would like. So what is it you're here to change tonight? I mean, because you don't go out, Friday night in the city, hang out with a bunch of weirdos. I mean, these people, not me. Hang out with a bunch of weirdos, for a night without looking to change or desire something. What is it you'd like to change? What is it you desire? If you could have anything out of your life in the next 3 to 5, 25 years, what would it be? Yes?
I'm not sure that this is the question that you're looking for, but 10 seconds. How do you do it?
We'll talk about that later.
Excellent.
Thank you. Yes?
To truly acknowledge what I've already created and what I'm already being.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else?
No more separation.
No more separation. Cool. What else?
Stop stopping.
Stop stopping. I know. See, the thing is, how many of you were accused of being chaotic when you were a kid, or a teenager, or a kid and a teenager and an adult and yesterday and, and this morning and, okay, but guess what? What if that's actually the greatness of you? Because this thing that we do about trying to eliminate chaos and institute order is killing all of us. Because every time you do that, you're having to solidify and make things right, make things wrong, and make things as solid as they can be, rather than as fun as they could be, rather than as creative as they can be, rather than as insanely, wonderfully, differently undefined as they can be. So how much poo are you using to create the elimination of the chaotic you are choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And truly, once again, this is something that a lot of people are like, I don't understand chaos, order, But it's basically whatever you thought was order is probably chaos, and whatever you thought was chaos is probably order, okay? So the order in your life is what creates disease, for example. You're like, what? Can I give you an example of one of the most highly ordered diseases on the planet? You ready? Cancer. I mean, that's a physical disease, okay? But judgment is the biggest one. But the judgment and the points of view are what create the cancer. But it's the necessity of ordering the judgment and the points of view into existence that create the cancer. Now, everything, isn't it interesting when I mention the word cancer? You notice the light energy in the room when I say cancer? Cancer. Cancer, cancer, cancer. I might as well say devil. Oh, wait, I'm not in Houston. It doesn't have as much energy here. Because the devil is going to come give you cancer. Okay, there you go. Okay. So, cancer, 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 cancer. All the ordered points of view and the poo, creating whatever the hell that is that comes up when you even hear the word. Will you just run and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. That energy that comes up when I say cancer, okay? Because I can't say it in a regular voice anymore. I got to say it like cancer, okay? Because it's more fun when I say cancer. Everything that comes up when I say that energy is the energy of order. And it's the energy of order. So anytime that energy comes up that's kind of weird, kind of heavy, kind of stuck, kind of doesn't move, that's the energy of order. Now, the energy of chaos. Think of birds flying. Think of kids playing. Think of dolphins. Think of whales. Think of a whale shaking a dolphin. No, just kidding. Sorry, are you like that too? Like, when you say this and this and this, you have to take it just one step too far. You know what I mean? How many of you take everything one step too far? Keep going, baby. All right. That's your version of bringing chaos to the world, okay? You're like, yeah, this, and then this. I like it. So everything you've done to make you wrong for that, everywhere you've been made wrong for that, all the poo creating that, will you just run and create it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. I remember I'd be at the kitchen table and my stepmother was preparing dinner and my dad was standing there looking miserable as he always did. And I would tell a joke to try to lighten the mood. I'd tell a joke and I'd be like, blah, 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 and I'd give the punchline and they would both sit there and go. I'm like, I am in the wrong family, man. I don't know how I got here, but dear God, Lord, please take me away. Give me cancer. No, just kidding. Pagabot, all right. Not the thing you want to ask for. Okay, Pokemon. Okay, so imagine if, see, what's true for you makes you feel lighter, and when you're being the lightness of you, there's just this, it's like everything is okay. Like if any of you ever had great sex. There's sort of this swath like through the room, you know. For those of you that haven't, you should try it, okay? But if you've ever had great sex, it's like, you know, the next day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm tired, but I don't care, I had great sex, you know what I mean? You're driving in traffic and there's a line like miles long, and normally you'd be so pissed off, you're like, oh yeah, oh look at the line, this is awesome. Gives me more time to contemplate the great sex I had. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But that's the way your whole life and world could be if you'd embrace it and recognize it's possible, and recognize that some of the places where we see it, like with little kids and with crazy people. I mean, not real crazy people. Crazy people that are willing to be a little different. It's like this actually could exist as your reality. And that's the thing that happens when you have really great sex. As an example, is what happens is you become undefined. That's the energy being chaotic. Whew. Everything you've done to refuse that, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. And you look at that and it turns everything on its ear because it's 180 degrees from what everybody says exists. They say order is good and order is consciousness and you should order everything. No, actually order is judgment. Order creates no change. Order creates solidity. Order creates disease. Order creates unhappiness. Order creates depression. Order creates our judgments of us. Chaos, on the other hand, is the antithesis of all of that. Chaos is the way it is, like after great sex, or when you've been out in nature and you're like, wow, everything is cool. That's chaos. So imagine going out in nature, and you know what it's like after you're there for like 45 minutes to an hour, or maybe for some of you a couple hours, till the weight of the world finally falls off of your shoulders and you're like, oh. And you start seeing different colors of green, and you start smelling different smells you didn't smell when you first got there, you know what I mean? As your senses aliven and awaken and you start connecting with everything that's around you, that's chaos. That's actually what it really is, the energy of chaos. It's actually coherence between chaos and order, but it's a lot of chaos and this tiny bit of order that goes through it. So the chaos is not just like explosive destruction, but it's this amazingly expansive, spacious energy that has no definition. It has total movement, and it has total presence to it, and it's got just enough order to where it's not just explosive destruction, it's this total spacious creation, and you can use that energy to do anything. That's where ask and you shall receive comes in, is from being the chaos of possibilities. So, what chaos of possibilities are you refusing? With the poo as real and reality you are choosing. Everything that is times the God's telling you, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. So what chaos of possibilities are you refusing? With the poo you create as real and reality that you are choosing. Everything that is times the God's telling you, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. So think of an area of your life that could use a little more chaos. Whew. Okay, and a lot of you are like, oh, I don't want to bring chaos there. Yes, you do. You just don't think you do. And it's the unwillingness to bring chaos there that's keeping it stuck in the way that it's stuck right now. Does that make sense? So one thing that you can do is if you look at this area of your life, like maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's your body, you know, your relationship with your body. Maybe it's with money right now, where you're like, oh God, if I just had more money, I could be happy, I could do so much. If you have that going on, with money as an example, it's because you've ordered into existence all of these points of view about money that are now creating it as your reality, and the only reality you can choose from, because you create this menu of choice based on the order of things and how they are. Puberty. How they are. Hello. Hello, I'm Mickey Mouse. That'd be awesome. By the way, did you hear about Minnie and Mickey getting a divorce? Have you heard about that? Yeah, well, what happened was Mickey's there in front of the judge for like the fourth time or something. And the judge looks at him and he goes, Mickey, for the last time, we did another psychological evaluation on Minnie. There is absolutely no grounds for divorce based on your assertion that she is fucking crazy. And Mickey, and this is not easy for Mickey, right? Goes into a rage and he's like, Judge! He goes, Judge, for the last time, get this. I don't want a divorce because she's fucking crazy. I want a divorce because she's fucking goofy. You put Mickey Mouse and sex in the same joke. Yeah, not easy, all right? Okay, good. But since we're on a little roll, let me just give you another one. Do you know why Miss Piggy cannot count to 100? Because every time she gets to 69, she gets a little frog in her throat. Just gotta drink some more water while you ponder that. Okay, good. So, yes, kids, go tell your friends. No, okay. I am so glad you're here. So, it's interesting. So, as you start to look at this and observe this whole area of order and chaos, you realize that order is pretty much everything that we've solidified. And chaos is everything that's actually the freedom that we've been trying to get to. And we have them back to front. And it's like, it's so interesting because just in that undoing that distinction, you start to go, whoa, wait a minute. I've actually been avoiding everything I am, which is the gift of me, which is the chaos I can bring to any situation, which is the undefinition I can bring to any situation, which is the joy I can bring to any situation, which is no point of view that I can bring to any situation, which is no judgment that I can bring to any situation, thinking that that was a way of ordering it, which is actually the exact opposite of what doing that actually is. So how much poo are you using to create the misidentification of order and chaos that stops you from being the chaos that would change realities are you choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion, we just don't create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shirts, boys, beyond. So I obviously have a table up here. You see this? Yes, okay. It's not just in my mind, right? Okay. It's a magic table. Only I can see it. Okay. And some of you are going to be impressed as somebody levitates on the magic table because you can't see it, and only I can. Okay. That was kind of weird. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to call a person or two up tonight. I'm not sure. And what I want to do when I work on them is I'm going to ask all of you to lower your barriers. Like, you know how you walk into a room like this, like I was saying before, and you walk in and it's like, this is me. I'm conscious. Shut up. You know, like, if you just lower all your barriers, what will happen is as I'm working on them, it'll actually work on you and your body too. Okay? Now, some of you will actually feel it, which is kind of interesting because you're like, you're not even touching me. You're across the room. How the hell am I feeling this? And some of you will just kind of, well, you'll get whatever you get. I don't know. I've never actually been in the audience while facilitating, so I'm not sure exactly what you get. You know, the best I can do is get feedback from people later. And it's weird because people have been like, I mean, there are people watching around the world. Hi, people around the world. Hi. Let's say hi to the people around the world. Hi. Yay. Hello. At this point, there's probably like 6 of them. I don't know. You know, and they're probably in New York. Anyway. So, but what can happen is like literally I've had people watching live stream from somewhere all around the world literally go, while you were working on that person, I had this stuff going on in my body, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know that idea that we're all interconnected? You've probably heard of this. Apparently it's true. Okay, but the beauty of it is this is actually using it on our behalf instead of against us. Because one of the things we found a long time ago in Access is that 98% of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your judgments, your points of view, your yuck, your unhappiness, your is not yours. 98% of the poo in your life, 98% of the crap in your life is actually stuff you're picking up from other people like a big psychic radio receiver because you've learned to entrain to their poo. Everything that is times a godzillion ways destroyed and created, please. Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. Oh my God, I'm talking faster. I didn't think that was possible. Okay, and so what happens is, like if you've ever walked into a room and people are sad, don't you get sad instantly and you wonder why? Or even before you go, when you think about going. Or how many of you ever like visit your mom? Everything that brought up. How much poo are you using to create your mom that you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion way destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. See, now the funny part is some of you love your mom, you have a great relationship with them, and about 95% of you are like, because you feel the energy in the room go, ooh. Don't say mom again. Say cancer, it was lighter. Everything that brought up, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, mock, all nine shorts, and everybody else. Okay, so what happens is, oh, by the way, we have an app. It's free. It's a free app. It's called Who Does This Belong To? Because there's this process that we develop where if you ask, who does this belong to for 3 days, to every thought, feeling, emotion, judgment, yuckiness, heaviness, poo that's in your world, if it lightens up when you ask, it's not yours. Just return it to sender with consciousness attached. Well, so we've been suggesting this for, 16 years at least, okay? Probably before I came along too, because it was suggested to me when I came along. Ask, who does this belong to for 3 days? And of course, what happens is, being us, how many of you have ADHD and you're just not diagnosed? You know what I mean? You know, with a little sousal of OCD, you know, tiny or large bit of autism, you know what I mean? And you're like, that's me, oh my God, my people, you know? And so what happens is you start to ask, who does this belong to? And 30 seconds later, you forget. And then, you know, an hour later, like, oh, I was doing that thing, damn it. Okay, so we created this app. It's free. It's our gift to you. We'll give you a link in the email you get with the audio of this class tonight, okay, because you're going to get the audio too. But it's like, and what it does, it reminds you on whatever interval you want. You can do like 30 seconds. Who does this belong to? You're like, oh, fuck, that, you know? And what's funny is that we have some people who have it on like, you know, every hour or after they've done the Who Does This Belong To for 3 days intensely and cleared the stuff. And because if you do it for 3 days, at the end of 3 days, you walk around like you're in a walking, talking meditation. Because you've broken the machine that makes you believe that everything you're aware of is actually yours. Because there's a huge difference, for example, between I'm sad, that's one thing. Okay, get that energy. Now, what's the difference between that and I perceive sadness? Exterior to you, and you're aware of it, which acknowledges your awareness, which is cool because we don't do that very often, and it acknowledges it's not yours, which is even cooler because now it's like, oh my God, I thought it was sad, but I'm just aware. This is even more awesome than I thought. I thought I was angry. No, I'm just around my dad. Okay, good. Everything that brought up, right, wrong, good, and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. And that's funny when I say this stuff about mom and dad. You know, it's in your world for a lot of you, but you're like, no, I can't think that about my dad. All the poo you're using to not be as aware as you are and to judge the awareness you have, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and girls. So anyways, I was saying about the Who Does This Belong To app because I got the ADHD, OCD, autism thing all rolled into one too, so I totally understand. So if I actually managed to complete a sentence, I'm very proud of myself. I'm like, yay, Dave, good job tonight. You did one. Okay, anyway, so the whole thing about the using this session is it actually is a way of contributing to you based on that connection that we have that for so long has been used against you because you've been picking up on everybody's crap as yours. This is where we open up a possibility in somebody's world and you get to go along for the ride and you don't even have to do the work. Okay? So we'll see how that goes. Carlito, would you like to come up? Yay! Woo! Take off those pretty boots, big guy. How you doing? Take the monkey out of your pocket. Okay. Woohoo! Two big men on a table. All right. Want me to hold that for you? You might not get it back. Anyway, there you go. Just kidding. So, now the question I usually ask when I do a session is if you could have anything out of this, what would it be? Okay? So I'm going to ask him that and see where we go. So if you could have anything out of this, what would it be?
The freedom to choose more, to be more space and
In the
more
mic.
consciousness.
In the mic.
So the freedom to choose to be more space and more consciousness with my body, especially with my body.
Cool. The freedom to choose more space and more consciousness. Now, this man, you may not know it, is like one of the sweetest people you will ever meet in your life. He is just like sweetness walking. Like, you need a hug, he's like, man, and I tell you, it's like I saw him and I met him when he was doing okay financially and whatever, and somebody needed money, and he was like, here you go. He's seriously one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. Face down, please. So it was like over here in the head hole. Ooh, I got a watch out of the deal too. This is working out well for me. I need to do more intros. Huh. See, now notice his body's moving. Now, the thing is, it's like we've done sessions before, okay? So his body knows this energy. And one of the things that opens up, see, now notice I'm not working really hard, okay? I was like, you're like, how is that happening, right? We're standing next to each other. Because if you don't have to order it, if you actually get that what this is a function of chaos, with chaos, this can change the universe. Ding, can go, okay? That's chaos, where a tiny element of input can create a universe of change. Does that make sense? Yes. So have you ever had that? Have you ever had a really shitty day, really horrendous, and somebody comes and gives you a hug, and it totally transforms? You ever had that? Yeah. Okay, tiny input, huge universe of change. Does that make sense? Yep. And at the same time, it gave you the awareness that somebody has your back, and you're like, oh my God, and it changes your world. Tiny input, universe of change. This is what's going on here. But one of the other things that's going on is, even though I look like I'm just looking at him, I'm actually doing this thing called ESB, energetic synthesis of being. Now, the words don't matter. I mean, how do I explain that? Energetic synthesis. What the fuck does that? I don't know. But it's a name that I've given to the energy. Okay. Why? Because I had to call it something. And if I call it ESB, you have no idea what the heck it is. So it's perfect because you can't define it and you can't limit it. Okay? But it is this sort of that is available. And so do me a favor, once again, I know a lot of you you're looking to try to see what's happening. You'll get a lot more information if you lower your barriers and receive the energy of what's happening, okay? So all the poo you're using to try to go into your head to try to figure it out, to try to figure out what's happening, to try to figure out what you're getting, to try to figure out what you can get and what you can't get and what you can change and what you can't change, and hope that maybe the miracle you're asking for in your life might actually be right here, rather than recognize that the miracle of your life is sitting in your fucking seat right now. Or you just running creative, please. Times you got zillion, right? Ring a bell all 9, putt shorts, boys and meows. Okay? So, having said that, what happens is there's this free energy in the universe, okay? And science talks about free energy. Chemical reactions sometimes, like you put this together and this, it releases free energy. Well, what's free energy? It's free energy, okay? What else do you need to hear? Okay, but there's this energy in the universe that actually is available to us. And in fact, some scientists are talking about the idea that the energy contained within one molecule is the entire energy of the universe. And I'm like, I don't quite understand that exactly. Not a big physics guy, sorta I am, but sorta not. But even if some part of that is true, the energy our bodies have available should be so much more than what we've allowed. Does that make sense? So what this does, it starts accessing it, because what we're really doing is we're undoing the order in their world, undoing the order in his body, to actually allow the chaos that our bodies naturally were. Because remember when your body was a kid? Do you remember that long ago? Some of you are like, I remember some of it, but I don't remember a lot of it, and I'm not sure I should remember it, because I think it was cool, but I don't think it was cool, but I got a lot of weird shit, and I'm not sure what happened, you know? But what happened is if you look at like the little girl over there, She's got plenty of energy. You can bet she like sleeps and wakes up and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes until she crashes again and then wakes up and goes and goes and goes, right? That's because she's not ordering her world. And thank goodness to her mommy and daddy who are just friggin' awesome. So they don't require her to order her world. And they're not trying to overly order her. What they're saying is, sweetie, we love your chaos. Here's a tiny bit of order so you know what to do with it. So you're not just totally out of control for no reason. And by the way, for those of you who are parents of quote unquote difficult kids, I'm going to share with you just one concept that may help. What you want to do is you want to expand your space of way bigger than you've been being out to the edges of the chaos that they're functioning from, okay? And so you want to occupy that chaos and be there too. Most of you thought your job as a parent was to order them in their world, which is not your job. Your job is to be the biggest element of chaos you can that matches the chaos they are, and then slowly become a little bit more order. Slowly become a little bit more order, and you may not know how to do that cognitively, but when I say it, your being knows how to do it, okay? Slowly become more order, which kind of like turns it just a little bit, and what happens is now it's not just total chaotic, chaos, destructive. It becomes this space with this chaos, with this tiny bit of order going sort of like washing through it, the whole thing, which allows them to know how to be in the world and how to interact with other people and doesn't diminish them at all, it expands them. Does that make sense? Everything that does, everything that brings up, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And part of the reason I'm saying that is because one of the big things that was done to most of us is our parents tried to order us. That's what they thought their job as parents were. Yeah, that's what they did. Okay, so, because that was their point of view about what a good parent should do, is order you. That's what happens in school. They try to order you. That's what happens in pretty much everything that goes on, taking you from a little kid to an adult, is they try to order you into the rightness and wrongness of everything that you might choose. All the poo that creates all that, and all the stuff that you've adopted, and all the stuff that you bought,
Yes.
and all the poo that creates the limitations of you, and the limitations of you actually being the chaos that could create something totally different in your life, and in our lives, and in our world. We just run and create it, please. Times a gazillion, right? Rung about all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. See, what if you saw yourself as this chaotic element walking? What if you saw yourself as this chaotic element that is actually a gift? Everything that doesn't allow that times a gazillion, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shirts, boys and beyonds. Okay, now when I'm doing this with him, once again, if you'll lower your walls and barriers, do me a favor, everybody, actually close your eyes, please. Lower your walls, lower the barriers, and close your eyes. Thank you. Now, just let this in. And it may be weird, but allow your body to receive as much of it as your body can. Whether you ever acknowledged how much that was or not. And just see. I mean, you may feel it or sense it. You may not. It doesn't matter. You're not doing it wrong. You're not doing it right. It's just usually easier to sense when you close your eyes. Because your senses go way beyond your five senses. Cool. Okay. In just another minute, I'll have you open your eyes. But for now, keep them closed for just another minute, please. What do you know, my beautiful friends, and what else is possible? What else is possible with us together? It is not possible with us apart. And what if you no longer had to be alone in the way that you've been enforcing aloneness on you, thinking you were the only one, and thinking you were too chaotic, and that was the problem with you? What if it's not? And what if you're not too chaotic? Everything that is times a gazillion, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. You can open your eyes when you want to. Flip over, my friend. Whew. not bring eye covers like a good doctor. Bad doctor, bad doctor. Okay, you can open your eyes if you want, or not, your choice. Okay. Do you sense even a slight shift?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, cool. And it might be in your body, it might be in your head, it might be just like, or ooh, or wow, I remember when I was a kid and I had this thing happen, and you go down that road. Okay, what you're doing is you're going down that road to get to the energy that got stuck, that stopped you from being everything that you are right now or could be. Does that make sense? So let it go, baby. Like, go. It's okay. No problem. You don't have to try to like, oh, I'm going to stay here and sit in the chair. And like, if you go somewhere on this tangent, what you're doing is going to create some change. So please, if you go, go. Just bring us with you. That way you won't be alone when you get there. Okay. But so what happens, you go back, and the thing is, we're energetic beings, and nobody tells us this. So all the stuff, it's like all the stuff that happened to you had an energy to it. All the stuff you'd like to achieve and be in the future has an energy to it. It's like we're energetic beings. And so what happens is it's like when somebody does something and it feels hurtful, that's an energy. And it's like, ooh, so we respond with a particular energy. And you have an awareness energetically, it's probably far greater than you ever imagined. So, it's part of the reason why I'm saying, let this in. Lower your barriers, let it in. Lower your barriers, let it in. Now, he asked for more consciousness and awareness, but he also said more consciousness with his body specifically. I think one of the difficulties is his body has this freedom that he is not willing to have. Okay? Everything that he's... So you got me there. Everything that is times the God say. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay, so you feel his world sort of unraveling in the way that it used to be.
Yes.
I know, point out things like that. Because whether you get it cognitively or not, like energetically, you and your body know it. And if I can point out those sorts of things, then what happens is you start to make these energetic connections. And these energetic connections are one of the greatest gifts you can get because you start to recognize that you're aware of energy, even if it's not cognitive. And most of your energetic awareness is not cognitive. The only time it becomes cognitive is if you ask about it later. Okay, so I said this about his body having this freedom he's not willing to have. And he's like, fuck. But given that I did it during this part of the session, where his body's already going, hey, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, thank you so much, I'm free. And he's like, oh, shit. Now I'm going to have to try to let it be free. Damn it. Because there are certain things he's been trying to control that his body's like, we don't have to control it. I don't have a problem. Let's go. Okay? So in order to control it, he had to make himself less aware of what his body desired and judge it and try to order it into the right and appropriate way to be, rather than the way his body wants to be and the way he can be. Does that make sense? When you do that, guess what happens? Because one of the things he was asking about was, this. And what happens is when you try to order your body into a way it is not asking to be, and when you're trying to take away its freedom to be the way it wants to be, you start getting solid and bigger. And you grow and grow and grow, and not the ways you might want to grow. Okay? Everything that is, how much poo are you using to create that with your body that you are choosing? Everything that is times the Godzillion way destroyed and created, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, call 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Okay, now, so once again, this free energy thing, it's like, I have no idea how it's going to show up in somebody's body. Some people, when they get sessions, are just like, and I don't care. It's like, it doesn't matter. As long as the energy is actually creating some change then I'm cool with that. Okay? And now I'm just asking, okay, I wonder if he's willing to have anything else, or if he's done, or if his body's done. His body's like, hell no, I'm not done. He's like, I am. If you go any further, I'm not going to be able to control it. Ha 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 ha. Carlito, your body's calling. Willing to have it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, we'll do some of those together in a minute. But one of the things we found is you can ask for sort of this explosion of energy and contribute to changing things. And you contribute to changing things on a personal level with enough of us who can contribute to changing things on a countrywide or global level. Okay, do you notice some shift in, maybe some shift in you, or maybe some shift in him? Or both? Both. Because what happens, like you don't see intensity increase after that when he said, yes, I'll have it? I was like, okay, cool, let's go, baby. Okay? Why? Because it's like, he's like, yes, I'll have it. I'm like, man, and the thing is, when you, please, when you make that choice for something different, run through that damn door. Okay? Run. Do not stop. Do not wait to collect your $200 at go. Friggin' run through the door. Okay? Because you have no idea when you're going to get that chance again. So when you have a chance in front of you to choose something, to change something, to become greater, to become more like you, run through the door in that moment. Okay?
With that, I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm ready. Where's the door? Where's the door? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm going. And he very carefully placed the thing over his eyes. So it was good. Okay. And we may be done, actually, but there's still just a tiny bit more that is apparently available. So I'm just going to do that for a minute. It was awesome. Are we done? Can I stop now? Can I stop being too much, please? Thanks. Okay. So really, though, when you get that chance, run through the friggin' door. Just bust the damn thing down and go. Because truly, like these choice points that we create, it only stays open for a little bit sometimes for certain things. Certain things can be there and they may be there forever. Okay, but for a lot of things, it may just show up for just a moment. The door opens. As long as the door is open, run through the damn thing. Okay? Which is why when I said, are you willing to have that? And he went, yes. And I went, ugh. See, I got him again while he wasn't looking. I think we should have like opera singers or something. That'd be awesome. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I should not be an opera singer, I realize. I think I've learned a lot of things tonight, okay? Become very aware of many things. Okay, cool. So that may go on for a while, but sort of where we're looking to get to energetically, we've sort of gotten to, okay? Now, if we were doing a session, one-on-one, and it was longer and blah, we might do more, I'm not sure. Sweet, sweet man. Sweet, sweet man. Okay. Now you can sit up.
Wow. Thank you.
You are so welcome, my friend. Does he feel any different to you? Yeah, that's the thing about this is like, wow. And I mean, I've had people, oh, it's like this. It's like somebody lies down on the table and you do this and like truly you can feel their world shifting. Say, wow, how does that work? Well, it's like, so all this order stuff is the solid stuff, but if you're willing to be enough chaos, but chaos is not go and, like blow them up. That's not, but kind of energetically what you're doing is you're melting those walls. How? By being you, by being the awareness that there's something different possible, by being willing to be the chaos that interacts with the order in just such a way that the order goes, oh, I don't have to be here anymore. And it melts. It's like this just, and when the walls melt, you get the space that somebody actually is. So it's not even, I mean, on the one hand, you could be like, what are you doing to him? Nothing. I'm undoing to him, I would, you know what they say? Undo to others as you would have them undo to you. You've heard of this? Okay. It's like undoing, like being the chaos with a little bit of order in it that matches that order and it melts. And then he has the space of him to be the things he hasn't been able or willing to be. Does that make sense? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. There's a certain point at which I look at you guys and you look like dogs watching television as I'm talking. You're like, it's awesome. Can we give him a hand, please? Look, I got a watch and rings. I made out like a bandit on the tip of this. My tip. There you go, my friend. You're welcome. Okay, so, whew. Okay, how you guys doing? Me too. Whew. Yes?
I'd like to know how he feels. Can
Cool.
we hear from him?
How do you
for
feel?
A minute?
Let me tell you how I feel. How you doing?
Well, I can really feel that
In the
probably
mic. In the mic.
I have that like the space to really look at each and every one of you and feel that I can receive you, and I can look at each and every one of you in your eyes and just be with you and really be totally present with you here, and it's really awesome. This is amazing. Thank you, Dan.
I love you. You're so welcome. Thank you. Could you hear him okay in the mic? Loud enough? Okay, cool. Because if so, then you'll be able to hear it later on the audios too. That was awesome. Thanks, my man. That was really cool. So, yes?
So when you were working on him and you were talking about our parents and school and, all the order, like you have to do this, you shouldn't do this, an area that I'm so aware that I have so much poo in that I'd really like to change is around sleep.
Yeah, not right now.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, and then you. Yes, you.
Yes, you.
Yes, you. Hey, you.
So the entire time, like during tonight, like I just feel like this happiness, right? And it's like in my eyes, it's in my head, it's in my, just like that, right? And I remember like that space of being that as a kid, and then the beautiful little girl who's been running around. Like my favorite part was when she came over here and she's just like, yeah, and she just started to do her body and started running. And I'm like, that's what I want. And then I noticed like in my body,
In the mic.
I noticed in my body that not every molecule, not every space.
I know. Is it yours?
No, it's not. mine.
Okay. I like that a lot of you went,
Friend.
oh. But that's the way this darn who does this belong to thing works. literally 98% of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, judgments, points of view, and poo in your head, not yours. Somewhere between 50 and 100% of what goes on in your body, not yours. If you're pregnant, it's probably yours. Just saying. Okay, you know. You're like, who does that belong to? Wouldn't that be funny if you went, who does that belong to? Totally kidding. So, how much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours you were choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow. That's a lot of poo. So how much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the body problems that are not yours as yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Dear Lord, people, that's got a bit of energy to it. Apparently, you've been doing a lot of stuff that you thought was yours and thought was your body's has nothing to do with you and your body. And your body's like, thank you, Dr. Day, thank you. Praise be, Dr. Day. Thank you, Dr. Day. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why your body talks like this. I don't know, maybe you know, I don't know where you grew up and all that stuff. I don't know, but we'll just talk about something like that later, okay? So, how much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Holy cow, is anybody getting lighter? You know what's getting lighter in your body? You're an anomaly. Shush. How much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. How much poo are you using to create the body problems as yours that are not yours are you choosing? Everything that is times the God's alien way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow. Thanks for that question. You're welcome. Good for now? Good for now. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, mademoiselle.
So, your gift, or what you're doing right now, is extraordinary.
Thank you.
And wondering, I guess, are you from another planet? And I don't mean that in a weird way, but...
Wait. What?
No.
I didn't actually hear that. I heard other planet. What did you say?
Planet. Well, basically, it seems as though you came here with this
From another planet?
From another place.
You're not the first one who thinks that about me, I gotta say.
And
Usually
so-
it wasn't quite as kindly delivered, however.
Yeah, crazy. No, so I suppose, in other places and dimensions, I'm just going to say it. Think what you want. So there's better, there's different dimensions where things happen more easily, or sort of different, places in the universe where things aren't as dense, and where things, so when you come here as someone like you, you're bringing that other place or that different level of consciousness to this planet to rise this planet up, and this sort of general density into a different dimension. So I admire, and I just wanted to say I am amazed at how you're doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel like personally relatively
personal
limited.
level.
Personally, relatively limited in my ability to also help out in this project, so
Really?
to speak. And not to say,
So,
you know what I'm saying.
all the poo you're using to create the inferiority of you rather than the brilliance of your chaotic awareness and possibilities that is actually true? Will you just join and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all 9, pod, pog, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Okay.
How much poo are you using? Everything you're using to pretend you're less than you know you are? Will you just join and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all 9, pod, pog, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What if you came from my planet? What if you too came from planet Happy Pants? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, not be, and receive it, will you just try and create it, please?
Yes.
Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all 9, pod, pog, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Okay, and then another question.
What if you are here to create as much change as I am?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel lighter or heavier? Lighter! Remember, what's true for you makes you feel lighter. Oh, shit. Get to work, people. Okay, did it make you feel lighter or heavier?
It made me feel full.
In the microphone.
It made me feel full. I would say, actually, to be honest, it made me feel heavier.
Did it actually make you feel heavier, or did it make you feel fuller in your awareness of you?
Well, that's
That
the
you've
one.
been trying to ignore
Yeah.
and trying to avoid and trying to pretend does not exist. So you
Right.
continue to pretend you're as pathetic as you continue to try to pretend that you are that you know you're not.
Yeah.
Everything that is times a gazillion, will you just try to create it, please? Yes or
Yeah.
no?
Yes.
Truth? You're really willing to be as powerful as you know you are that you've been pretending not to be?
Yes. You want an emphatic yes?
No, I want a real yes if it's going to be a
That
yes.
was my heart. It's my heart.
Otherwise, just go, no, I don't want that, thanks.
No, I want it. Yes.
Thank you. Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all 9, pod, pog, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Okay, cool.
See, what you do, what we tend to do is we tend to look for the reasons why I can't choose it, or we look for what's in our universe that doesn't allow us to choose it. Rather than, okay, you're opening the door a crack, I am rushing through that damn door. That shit is not stopping me anymore. You were dumb enough to open it. Watch out, baby, here I come. Everything that is times a gazillion, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Miss Hairdresser Lady, would you like to come up?
Thank you.
Yep. Come on up, baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay! Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Paula.
Paula, how are you?
I'm great. How are
Good
you?
to see you, sweetness.
Good to see you too.
How about a little hug? Girl knows how to hug. You want a hug? Damn! Like a hug. Awesome. So, if you could have anything out of this, what would it be?
That is an excellent question.
That's why I ask it. That.
The courage to continue exploring the awareness that's coming to me.
Cool. And
And
that.
just to be who I actually am versus who I've always told myself I am.
And who you had to pretend you were to other people? And who you had to pretend you're not to other people?
Yeah.
And the face you had to hide from the world and present to the world that you know has nothing to do with what's actually really truly available to you as the greatness of you and the chaos of you?
Dane, you're going to make me cry.
You can cry. It's all right. You're in a room full of really cool people.
I know. I can feel that.
Yeah. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Awesome. Yeah. Let me find a face thing for you. We brought one. Our level of efficiency is off the charts. Look, another one folded neatly. It's amazing. course, if I have to pull them apart, I'm not doing such a good job. Okay.
I love that you called me hairdresser lady. I think lady being the key word there, so I'll
Hey.
take it.
Come on up, beautiful woman. Beautiful lady. Oh, yeah, we should probably take those out. Secretly, I hope she forgets them. Huh? Right?
You can join
Huh?
Sarah's.
Thank you. Hey. Okay. Make the dive, darling. Make the dive. Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, now if we acknowledge that when I asked her for so she gave 2 answers, right? And before that, she was looking, and I'm like, that. And when I say that, because that energy of what she wants to ask for that's when it's going in across her brain, basically, okay? Because I can perceive that blip of energy. And so she spoke to that, and then she said the one thing, and then I elaborated on it a bit, right? Well, as soon as I started elaborating on it, the energy started shifting and changing, and the order that was in her world about all of it, it was like, and starts changing. Now, here's what happens, guys, and girls, people, here's what happens, weirdos. What happens is when you have no judgment and truly no point of view about anybody, that in itself is this amazing gift. Because if you just be with them with no judgment and you see them and you see the gift that they are and be with them with no judgment, their world shifts and changes because all the order that they've been using to hold in place, all their judgments of them starts melting away in your presence of no judgment. Everything that is times a gazillion, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9, choice boys and beyond. I'm telling you this because there are a lot of you that don't have judgments of people. The only person you judge is you. Can I point 2 questions I have for you. How many of you have at least one person in your life that doesn't judge you in any way and doesn't think you should be any different than you are right now? How many of you? Well, that's cool. Awesome. What's it like being in their presence? Isn't it wonderful? Relaxing. Very relaxing. It's like you almost want to just nap on them. Like, it's just like, oh, because it's so relaxing. Finally, there's some space for you to be you. Okay, and if you don't have that, please ask for 1 or 10 to show up in your life. Now, what happens is, it's the same thing with any of us. Like, if you're truly just being there with no judgment, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. There are ways of helping facilitate more change and that sort of thing, which is beyond the scope of tonight, but it really doesn't matter that much what you do. Being there with no judgment. And if you actually happen to see the beauty of the person behind the walls that they've been putting up to not see it, and if you see the brilliance of them that they've not been willing to see, and you have no judgment, all of a sudden it starts to go into their world and become something that's available for them to have as their reality. Make sense? Everything that doesn't like to perceive, not be, and receive it, and to perceive, not be, and receive the people that are like that in your life, and the people that where you actually are that and can be that gift, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. One other thing is, so once again, how many of you think you're judgmental or have thought you were judgmental? I know a lot of you are like, I'm not going to say that, but yes, me, twice. Okay. See, what happens is, if you've ever thought you're judgmental, you know how you get that, oh my God, I'm so judgmental thing? If you've ever had that thought, that alone proves you are not judgmental. You want to know why? Because people who are truly judgmental never think, oh my God, I'm so judgmental. They just know they're right and you're wrong. So everything you've done to judge that you're judgmental when you're the only person you ever judge, we just run and create it, please. Times a gazillion, right? Rung about all 9, pod, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I'm going to ask you again to lower your walls and barriers or points of view or whatever the heck it is. And let it in. Let mama in. Sweet being. And so friggin' strong. And one of the challenges is when you are that strong, you feel like you have to be the rock for everybody and everything. And most people put that on you too, because it's really nice from their point of view for them when they don't have to be so strong anymore, which in their mind means I don't have to contribute to you, which means you're going to be doing all the contribution, rock. Thank you very much, because you're so strong, of course you can handle it. You're so strong, of course you can be that, so I don't need to contribute to you. All of you who have not allowed yourself to step into being the strength that you are because you don't want to be the rock that everybody else relies on, you want to be somebody who's actually contributed to, rather than recognizing that you can be the strength and receive the contribution, but it's only going to be from the people who are strong enough to contribute to you. Will you just run and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Run, Good, Bad, All Nine, Pod, Puck, Shorts, Boys, and Beyonds. See, and what you start to realize is it's like this thing about when you are that strength, everybody wants a piece of you. But guess what? If you're really the strength of you, if you're willing to be the chaos of that strength and the chaos that is the strength of you, you got plenty to give. Like, okay, if you need more, fine. It's an infinite universe. I'm part of it. Have as much as you need. Have as much as you need. And they're like, no, I need more. Have some more. I need more. Have some more. I need more. Go away. You know? There's a certain point which is like, ain't nobody ever going to fill you up. Get out of my face, you know? Everything that is times a gazillion, we just run and grade it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, Pod and Puck, all nine, Shorts, Boys, and Beyonds. All of you who felt bad when you were like, go away, or had the point of view somebody should go away, because what happens is what they'll do is when people decide they have needs, they use those needs as the reason and justification for what they take from you without giving anything in return. Well, I have needs. That's why I take so much from you, because I got needs. I got needs that need to be fulfilled, and guess what? It's your job today to fulfill it. I got needs. This is now your problem. And you're like, what the fuck did that happen? Everything that is times a gazillion. You've been resisting people who had needs, and also resisting becoming the strength that would allow other people to need you and take from you, while knowing you're the strength, because you always have been ever since you were this big, while pretending you're not the strength, while knowing that you are, while not knowing what the heck to do. Will you just run and create it, please? Times a gazillion, right? Wrong, about all nine, Pod, Puck, Shorts, Boys, and Beyonds. So I'm going to ask again if you will let this in a little bit more. Close your eyes, everybody, please. And I'm going to do a little something. have Kleenex. You can open your eyes when you're ready, guys. Or not, your choice. Whew.
Me too.
Uh-huh. More? You good? Mm-hmm. Oh, baby.
Speaking of being a lady.
Hello. Hello, hairdresser lady. Okay, how are you guys doing? Whew. A little intense? I know, you need that nap, right? Like, they it's always, wow, I'll tell you, it's, wow. Okay. What I mean is, wow. Yes?
So you were talking about judgment?
Uh-huh.
And I have been judgmental. Like, I'm really judgmental in my relationship.
Oh, cool. Can we have this conversation another time?
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate that. She's in COP. No, you didn't think that. You knew that. Because there's a certain level of conversation that you can have when we're together for just this short amount of time. And there's a certain level you can have when we're together for 3 days. And she was trying to go to the 3-day level. And I'm like, that's not where I'm going right now. Let's go where we can go boom, 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 boom. And open up things for people. Because if we have 3 days, what happens is in the 3 days, we can dive into things, go as deep as we need to, as long as we need to, and because we'll get out the other side. Sometimes if you've ever tried to have a really deep conversation with somebody in like 8 minutes, you know, you're there, you're about to go to the bathroom, and they're like, let me talk to you. And you're like, no! You know, it's kind of like that. So that's why I asked for us to do that later. Okay, so now notice with her, this is our first session. This first time meeting her, first session ever done, etc. But you notice how it's like you can perceive the energy start moving through her body. It's like, so what this does is it takes you out of that ordered separation from the world around you, and your body is ordered in separation from the universe and all that, like your own little island silo on legs, you know? Takes that and starts undoing it to where you can start to receive the energy that's all around us, and your body can start to receive it, and you can actually receive it to create. And then your sphere of influence stops being just, hi. Your sphere of influence stops being just here, and you believing that you're just this energy, and then it becomes, wow, I'm energy. You can be as much as you want, because as an infinite being, you have access to all of it if you're no longer confined to this little cocoon that you thought you had to be cuckoo. Okay, is that weird that half of you did that all at the same time? That was interesting. That's the new, I like that. When you want to bring chaos in, and there's somebody else who knows what you're doing, go, cuckoo, cuckoo. Awesome. That's the way to go. I like it. So as that occurs, it's like literally, it's like you start to get any level of energy you'd like to have available. You can actually just reach out and ask for it. It changes everything. Cuckoo, cuckoo. It's probably not the best thing to do when you're right at, like crotch level. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe that's just the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're out, you've had a few drinks, you're like, no. Hi, we don't know each other, but my name is Dane. And I have a method for introducing chaos. Can I show you? Cuckoo! Cuckoo! How does that get in my head? Who does that belong to? Okay, would you guys like to do something together? So on 3, you see this thing I've been doing? It's like, it's like a lightning bolt meets an atom bomb, okay? So on 3, let's change what has been the value of order in your life so you can start to actually perceive a different possibility, okay? And everything you bought from everybody else and everything you've been instituting as the way you had to be, hi. On 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not just consciousness, it's an exercise program. Okay. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. I think maybe it should be cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Okay, now on 4, so the 3 changes the past, okay? The 4 is actually the creation of a greater future, okay? So let's do a similar thing, but also invite in your awareness of the possibilities that of the gift that chaos could be for you and your willingness and capacity to choose it, okay? On 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do one other thing just because we can. Let's invite total chaos into the presidential race. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! 1 on 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on 3, let's destroy the order. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one is all the computations and algorithms that create all the ordered, everything that's the presidential race has been functioning from and as. On 5, let's change that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. Cool. And now again on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks. No need to avoid crying, my darling. It's okay. How you guys doing? Cool. Kind of intense for 2 hours, eh? Feel like longer than 2 hours? You're like, yeah, is it midnight yet? No. Kind of interesting. Just wanted to give you a minute. How you doing, sweetness?
Great.
Cool. Yay. You can have a seat when you're ready. Ooh, baby. I happen to have a box.
Thank you.
Or we got a couple more.
Better go easy on me then.
Don't make me cry anymore.
Hi.
Hi. She feel different to you? Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
You're
Let's do it
welcome.
again sometime.
Okay, deal. Yay. Told her, don't have too much fun. Because we want to, be circumspect and control ourselves more. Okay. So, I don't want you to think I have OCD, but I have OCD. Okay. Okay, we're good. Somebody had asked about living in 10-second increments. You're just asking how? Yeah. Choice. Really is not an easy thing. It's like doing who does this belong to? Because what happens is, so one of the tools we have in Access is to live in 10-second increments. And the way it works is this. You have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What do you choose? Okay? Okay, that lifetime's over. You have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What do you choose? Okay, that lifetime's over. You have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What do you choose? And in doing that, even if you just did it for 3 minutes a day, makes you extremely present. Because you have to be so present because you realize, oh, I'm choosing to take this step. Okay, cool. I'm choosing to put my hand in my pocket. I'm choosing to play with my, like, whatever. That should probably last longer than 10 seconds, but, do what you want, okay? But it really is about if you have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life, what do you choose? And what happens is a lot of us have really gotten away from the idea that we have choice and that we can actually change our choices. And if you lived your life that way, it's like sometimes you would have made plans with friends or something, and you'd realize, oh, actually, that's not going to work out very well, and you could call and change. What most of us do, we make plans with friends. We're like, I don't want to go, and it's really heavy, but I'm going to go anyway. And it's like I had this lady who was going to come to a class, and it was so funny because she asked for my opinion. Now, I don't give you my opinion on coming to class. I said, what's your life going to be like in 5 years? She went, oh, well, great tool for choice. What will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? What will my life be like in 5 years if I don't? And so she got that it would be a contribution. And then I went, okay, so look at it. Is it going to be lighter to go or not? And she was like, nah, I don't think so, but I'm coming anyway. Okay. She went to drive to the airport from her house. It normally takes 2 hours. It took 7 hours to get to the airport because all the highways were closed. She missed her flight. She missed the next flight. She ended up getting there at something like 1. And she's here. I wasn't making fun of you, I promise. I was using it as an illustrative example of awareness. And she ended up getting it at like 1 in the morning the day before the class. Now, she got that it would, that there was lightness if she had gone, but then when she got that going would create more in 5 years, but when she looked to go, it got really heavy. But she didn't ask any more questions. So though she ended up making it to the class, no problem, I was going to do a little air guitar. Though she ended up making it to the class, the travel getting there was friggin' horrendous. It was like 12 hours, 14 hours of travel or something, and it should have been 5. So it's like, but she wasn't willing to take the awareness that she had. She went with the conclusion, I'm going to the class because, well, that's fine. But if she had asked more questions, there may have been other ways of getting there. Going to a different airport, there's so many ways in which if you ask a question and go for what's light, the universe will show you. It's just, it doesn't talk to you in words. It doesn't say, hey, by the way, your flight's going to get screwed up. There's going to be a bunch of construction. There's going to be freeways closed. It's going to take 14 hours. Don't do it that way. There's another way. Ask. That's not the way the universe communicates. It goes, hey, you're going to do this. Oh, it's heavy? Well, that's because that's not the way to do it. Ask more questions. Okay, cool. If I choose this, or what are the options I haven't considered? What else is possible beyond this? What's another way to do this? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So blah, 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 blah. At this point, basically, that's what I perceive you hearing. Blah, 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 blah. It's like when the dog is hearing its owner, and the dog's name is Fluffy, and the owner's like, oh my God, Fluffy, you're like the best dog in the world, Fluffy. I'm so grateful for you. I love you so much, Fluffy. I'm so glad you're my dog. And Fluffy hears blah, 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 Fluffy, blah, blah, Fluffy, blah, 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 Fluffy, blah, 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 Fluffy. Kind of like you guys right now. You're like, Fluffy. Okay, good. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is a tool and because if you've been in Access any length of time, you've heard people do this over and over and over, and it probably drives you nuts. It's called hello. We're on. Woohoo! Okay, it's called How Does It Get Any Better Than This? You want to ask it when something good happens or when something bad happens. In a bad situation, it'll make it better, so it'll improve it. In a good situation, it'll make it even better than it just got. Please, how does it get any better than this? Literally starts opening up doors you never imagined possible, and starts opening up possibilities you never imagined could exist, okay? I just wanted to give you that because some of you, I'm sure, have heard it but didn't really get, why would you do that? Where did this come from? And the person you're sitting next to is like, how's it get any better than that? You're like, I stubbed my toe. What do you mean? Well, how does it get better? Shut up. It gets better by you shutting up and stopping asking me stupid fucking questions. That's how it gets better. Shut up. Sorry, you were saying something about my toe? So, the other question, there's a lot of questions we can ask, and every question, a question always empowers, an answer disempowers. So every question you're willing to ask opens up a different doorway of possibility. So whenever you have something go on and it's like, it seems like doors are closing, what you want to ask is, what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? And what's it going to take to change this, okay? And the other last question I want to share with you, and then we'll go home. Actually, 2 more things, sorry, really quick. One is, whenever you're going into the wrongness of you want to ask what's right about me that I'm not getting. It's really a cool tool, really a cool question. And you ask, and you may go, what's right about me I'm not getting? You don't really get anything. What's right about me I'm not getting? You don't get anything. What's right about me I'm not getting? And then just leave it. A few hours later, you'll get something, usually a few hours later, you get some kind of awareness and you're like, oh, I'm not nearly as bad as I thought I was, okay? What's right about me I'm not getting? or about a situation, what's right about this I'm not getting. And then there's the thing we call the mantra of access. And this is so simple, and it sounds so simple. And when I first came to Access, I used it all the time. And then it sort of just slipped away from me. And, you know, because I got more advanced tools, like big, powerful things that I thought were, you know, It's called All of Life Comes to Me with Ease and Joy and Glory. You want to say it 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening. And whenever you're going through airport security. Or passport control, or custom, you know, any of those places. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And what you're doing is you're saying all of life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all show up with as much ease as they can, with as much joy as they can, and with as much glory, which is exuberant expression and abundance. Okay? So all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And you do it 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening. And what it does is, ease is this space. Sort of like chaos. It's this space where it's like, oh, everything's cool, awesome. Joy, you know what joy is. You've heard of it at least, right? Okay, good. And it's what it does is there's actually this movement with joy, and this enthusiasm with joy, and this unstoppability with joy. And then there's glory, which is exuberant expression and abundance. So if you had that space, and you have that movement that joy is, and you had this exuberant expression and abundance, you'd have sort of this trifecta of this space of living and being that really is this chaotic space that we're talking about, but this is a way to actually invite it into your life and ask for it, okay? And once again, it's not an affirmation, because with affirmations, have any of you done affirmations? Do they work? Yes. Sometimes, and then a lot of times they don't, or they'll work and then they stop working, because your point of view in an affirmation, unless you're really present with it and actually being what you're asking for, your point of view is that you're not that, so you're trying to counteract the idea that you're not that. So that point of view eventually comes and takes over. So all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory is not an affirmation, it's an acknowledgement, and it's a request. All of life. Not only good things happen to me, only good things happen to me, it's all of life. The good, the bad, and the ugly are going to happen. They all come with ease, joy, and glory, okay? So I just wanted to give you those also. So how are you guys doing? How was tonight for you? Did you have fun? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your time, your energy, and showing up here and being the friggin' gift to the world that you are. And as I like to say, what if you truly being you are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires? You are, and I'm so grateful you're on this planet and that we're here to play together. So come play sometime. Bye-bye. Thank you. Yay! Woo! 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 Cuckoo! 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 You're welcome, little darling. It's my pleasure. Don't have too much fun.